Half a century ago, in a peaceful village located in the southern region of India, there resided a man who was known to all the villagers as Khan. Khan was known for his boundless curiosity and insatiable desires, which consumed his every thought despite his young age. He sought pleasure in the company of others and constantly found himself entangled in the indulgence of his desires. Khan would often admire and bid farewell to the beautiful ladies of the village with his eyes. One day, an old sage from a distant land arrived in the village. Seeing Khan suffer from his compulsive sexual cravings, the old man felt compelled to offer wisdom. Gathering Khan under the shade of a majestic tree, the elder began to speak. "My child, sex is a natural part of our human nature. It should not be suppressed or rejected. However, if we recklessly indulge in our sexual desires, it can deplete and weaken us, throwing us completely off balance. Remember that you are not merely an animal driven solely by instincts, but a person capable of conscious choice. You have the ability to not be overwhelmed by compulsive desires and to determine the role that sex plays in your life. By being aware of our obsessive sexual desires and practicing self-control, we can direct this potent energy toward our own spiritual growth and evolution." Khan listened intently, sensing a deeper truth being unveiled before him. Realization began to awaken within his restless mind. Yes, sexual energy is indeed one of the most powerful forms of energy within us and can be utilized for spiritual awakening and growth. However, it also influences our physical and psychological well-being. During sexual activity, both physically and spiritually, we expend a significant amount of energy. This highlights the importance of being mindful and vigilant regarding our sexual desires. An individual who consciously abstains from sex remains composed and focused, their mind clear and their body energetic. Such individuals can easily attain success in the material world. Slowly, Khan began comprehending the connection between the parable and his own life. The energy that resides within you, my young friend, is not something to cast aside thoughtlessly or to indulge recklessly. It is a treasure that, when channeled properly, can fuel your growth, insight, and deeper connection to the world around you. For a young 17-year-old like you, it may be more harmful to engage in uncontrolled sexual relations, because you are still in the stage of physical development. Let me tell you a parable. Long ago, there was a young sapling in this very spot. It grew swiftly, thriving under the nurturing rays of the sun and the gentle caress of the wind as it grew. It discovered that it possessed the ability to bear fruit. Ignorant of the importance of patience and growth, the young sapling eagerly rushed into maturity, longing to prove its worth. The sapling, driven by its youthful enthusiasm, began to bear fruit before it had the strength to support such a burden. Its fruits were small and tasteless, lacking the richness and vitality characteristic of mature trees. The sapling had expended its precious energy too soon and had deprived itself of the nourishment required for growth. The young tree never had the opportunity to become the mighty giant that it could have been. "My child," continued the elder, "in many ways you were like that young tree. Your sexual energy is a potent and precious force within you, capable of creating and nurturing life. Yet, just as the sapling was robbed of its potential, prematurely expanding its energy, so too are you at risk of losing your own vital essence." From that day forward, Khan began to embrace the importance of sexual abstinence as he sought to cultivate his physical health and mental clarity. He delved into mindfulness practices, directing his energy towards new passions and artistic endeavors. With each passing day, he discovered the immense power that resided within him. finding strength and growth where his restless yearnings once held dominion. In today's society, where sexuality is often glorified and messaging around sex is pervasive, the concept of sexual abstinence may raise eyebrows or even be perceived as unrealistic. However, there are numerous benefits to practicing abstinence, especially for individuals who choose to prioritize their well-being and exercise self-control in their sexual lives. The practice of voluntarily refraining from sexual activity has been advocated by various ancient teachings and still holds relevance in today's society. Although the perception of sexual abstinence has evolved over time, it remains a subject of interest and debate. Many ancient cultures and spiritual traditions considered sexual energy to be a powerful force that, when harnessed and transmuted, had the potential to enhance personal development, spiritual growth, and overall well-being. Practices such as celibacy were often embraced by monks, nuns, and spiritual leaders to cultivate higher states of consciousness and to redirect their energy towards self-realization and spiritual pursuits. Buddhist teachings, for instance, emphasize the benefits of sexual restraint in promoting detachment and reducing attachment. By understanding and transcending the desires that arise from the attachments associated with sexual activity, individuals can experience a sense of inner freedom and liberation. Taoist philosophy views sexual abstinence as a means to attain harmony, longevity, and optimal health. Taoist practices, such as the cultivation of sexual energy through techniques like the inner alchemy, aim to redirect sexual energy throughout the body, promoting physical and spiritual well-being. Contemporary scientific research also sheds light on some potential benefits of sexual abstinence. Enhancement of energy and focused sexual abstinence can lead to an accumulation of sexual energy that can be redirected towards other areas of life, such as creative pursuits or personal goals. Many individuals report increased mental clarity, focus, and motivation during periods of abstinence. Some individuals who practice sexual abstinence along with complementary practices like meditation report enhanced spiritual experiences, including deepened states of meditation, a sense of interconnectedness, and increased self-awareness, strength, and emotional connection in relationships. Sexual abstinence can offer an opportunity to focus on emotional intimacy, fostering a deeper understanding and bond between partners. It will be interesting to talk a little about Osho, also known as Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, was a spiritual teacher and philosopher who had a unique perspective on various aspects of life, including sexuality. He believed in embracing and celebrating sexuality as a natural and integral part of human experience. While he did speak about the importance of being conscious and mindful in one's sexual experiences, he did not advocate for sexual abstinence in a way that some traditional religious or spiritual teachings might. Osho emphasized the importance of transcendence and sexuality. He encouraged individuals to move beyond the purely physical aspect of sex and to explore the spiritual and meditative dimensions of it. Osho believed that through deep awareness and surrendering to the present moment, sexual energy could become a path to higher states of consciousness and enlightenment. At the same time, he emphasized the importance of individual freedom and personal choice and sexual expression, encouraged people to explore their sexual desires and fantasies without guilt or shame, as long as it was consensual and respectful towards all involved parties. He believed that sexual repression and judgment only served to create imbalance and suffering. However, Osho did also caution against becoming attached or addicted to sexual experiences. He believed that true freedom lies in being able to experience sex without becoming controlled by it, understanding that it is just one aspect of life, not the ultimate goal. In this perspective, sexual restraint can be seen as a way to develop a healthy relationship with one's desires and to prevent them from becoming compulsive or destructive. Ultimately, Osho's teachings on sexuality were about embracing it as a natural part of human existence, celebrating its pleasure and potentials, and using it as a means for spiritual growth and self-realization.